Hello, everybody. We're here today to talk about perfection. Perfection can be like the ultimate four-letter word. So what is perfection? Well, there's really, I would say, real perfection and the egoic, man-made, judgment and belief-based ideal of perfection. So your true heart, soul, essence, your eternal beingness has never been anything but perfect. Even the concept of imperfection is human-made. And from the human standpoint, everything has been created. So all the belief systems, all the judgments, it's all an invention. And most of us who come to this point on our journey where we wake up from the state of being asleep and unconscious to our true nature, we dove into this experience and we experienced duality in all of its forms, only to come full circle and wake up from it. So most of us have experienced the egoic attempt to achieve a state of perfection in its fullest, right? In all of its glory. And that can create a ton of unhappiness, turbulence. It can create great happiness and great sadness. So what is the egoic state of perfection, really? When you look at the ego, being that it's all dualistic, good, bad, right, wrong, it's all judgments. But it's funny because for every judgment or belief, every side of the coin has an opposite side. So if this is good, then there's an equal thing that's bad. If it's good because it's sunny out today, it's going to be bad if it's cloudy tomorrow. So as you go to achieve perfection, it's like, oh, this is good, this is better, this is the best. It's like the epitome of the ego, right? Which is why it's such a ego trap, because that energy of the seduction of perfection, it's like it will tell you lies, that you'll be happy if you achieve this state of perfection. The problem with that, let's just say, what is perfection for you? Maybe it's a certain career or making a lot of money or buying a certain house or, once I achieve this perfect, I get this perfect body, then I'll feel good about myself, right? It's always, I'll feel good about myself when this happens. The problem is then when it doesn't happen, then you're creating, if I have a bad house or I don't make any money or I have a career that I don't consider that is not in this category, then I'm going to feel really bad about myself. So it creates this roller coaster of emotions. And whatever this is, the ideal of perfection, it's not attainable. The moment you attain it, your ego is going to come up with a higher level of perception because your ego is never truly satisfied. Or you achieve this, I finally have the house of my dreams. Now you live in fear of losing it. So perfection of the ego it's like a torture trap, really. And the perfection of your essence, your soul, your true beingness, it's always perfect. It's always there. And it's always in this present moment when you're not thinking about how to achieve perfection. Kind of ironic, hey? So the funny thing is, when you are caught up in the illusion of perfection, so maybe just take a moment. Where in my life am I feeling not good enough? Where do I feel like I could be better? Take a moment. Maybe just feel into it for yourself. Are there any areas of your life that your ego has sort of convinced you that if you achieve some level of perfection, you'll feel better? So take stock of that, because I guarantee it's not true. That feeling better it's like eating sugar. It's a temporary high with a crash. There's going to be a high and a crash. And the irony is that perfection of your essence it's there when you let go of this seductive desire to be perfect. Now, so how do you live your life? And how does that work when you go out in the world? The funny thing is, when you are judging yourself, because it is a judgment that this isn't good enough, that's not good enough, I'm not good enough right here, right now. So you're judging yourself. Maybe your clothes aren't good enough, the way you act isn't good enough, the words you say, yada, yada, yada. When you are judging yourself, then you go out into the world and you interact with others, they're going to feel that. People aren't always conscious of it, but innately we feel each other's judgments. We're aware of them, we're just not consciously aware of them. Everyone you come into contact with on some level feels the judgments within your field, within your body of consciousness. And when you go around other people, if you're worried about your looks, your shoes, your hair, did I say the right thing? You're actually making other people uncomfortable too. So not only are you judging yourself, making yourself kind of borderline miserable, because, there's a suffering that goes along with this, but other people are feeling that in you too. So you're kind of sharing that misery with everyone. So when you let it go, you recognize it, and this is why I love clarity so much, because it's simply for you to realize, oh, this isn't true. I created this belief, this opinion, this judgment, this program that says when I'm happy, this will happen, and I can just let that go. You come into your breath and into your presence and your beingness, and you're in that natural state of perfection. There's an underlying perfection, sense that all is well, that's always with you, and you're not seeking for anything to be different, so you're not judging. People feel that, and you're not worried about your this, that, or the other thing. You're not worried about yourself and judging yourself. And then they naturally will feel more comfortable and at ease in their own presence, in their own skin, just as they are. Because you feel fine just as you are. You accept them just as they are. Everything you judge within yourself, you judge within other people. And everything you judge within other people, you judge within yourself. So you can call it an act of self-love, letting go of perfection, and of love for humanity, for creation, because it's not just with people. You go out in the world, you don't judge anything, you don't deem it to be wrong or bad or need to be fixed. So a couple of the ways that the ego likes to seduce you with this, again, is the lie that you will feel better. Now, you will feel better if you achieve something external temporarily. So it's true. Again, it's like eating candy. You'll have that temporary high. And so many people are addicted to achievement, to this ideal of perfection, to bettering themselves externally. And there's nothing wrong with it as long as it's coming from, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Okay? We all came here to experience duality, to live with this egoic structure, all these beliefs. So there's nothing wrong with it. But when you become aware of your divine essence, you naturally begin to choose contentment, ease, joy. When you experience the lightness and the effortlessness and the perfection of your true essence, your soul, then it becomes very unappealing to try to achieve something externally. And you also see how futile it is, because it's not going to last. It's all this effort really for nothing when everything you need is right here. So you come into a way of being where you're not going to give your power away to anything outside of you. What are you really going to give your contentment and your joy to? What's worth sacrificing how you feel, how you really feel in this now moment? So, the ideal of perfection it's just a lie. It's a belief, it's a program, it's an invention, and it really causes a lot of havoc. And the more you wake up, the more embodied you become, and the more aware of this you become, it will come around in this spiral. It'll go into different areas of your life. You might let it go over here, throw your scale in the garbage and not worry about weighing yourself every morning, but then it'll zip around to your job or your relationship with other people. And so you'll have to stay aware of these things. It's really important to stay alert, stay conscious, and stay aware. That's why I created the Clarity series, because when you stay in this space of clarity of what is you and what is the ego, it's a no-brainer. It becomes really easy then to go, oh, that's the ego again. Yeah, well, for sure. I've chosen 100% time after time that I'm going to align with my soul, with my essence, with my true perfection, and that deep contentment and joy that is unmovable. So, and it's okay. We at times have to do things. So how do you exist in the world then? Well, you just do what's needed to be done. Your home. I used to work really hard and watch so many shows on how to decorate. Now, I just got a picture this week. I've lived here for a year. I didn't have a picture. I didn't have much decorations, but I wasn't worried about what my place looked like. The more you go into your true perfection, the less that superficial things will matter to you. Okay? Truly everything of form becomes superficial, and you're going to go for true joy, starting with neutrality and contentment, and letting that expand into, more joy and passion and enjoyment. But it's here, in this now moment, in this breath, in your presence. So, let yourself off the hook. The good news is, whatever you've been judging yourself about, it's not true. Whatever your ego has been, this isn't good enough, you got to do better here, you got to do better there. What if you can just let it go and start to breathe more, relax more into your presence, into your essence, into yourself? What if you start connecting more with your true eternal beingness that always has been perfect and always will be perfect? It's really where you're realizing what you've always been, and you're bringing it through this human form. So you're becoming really your true self by being aware of and saying no more to the egoic ideals. It's a process of elimination, and at times it feels very I would say counterintuitive, but it's more like counter what you've been taught. So, perfection. Let's all just take a nice deep breath. Exhale through your mouth, releasing any need for perfection. Just let it go for this moment. Take another deep breath and just feel into your beingness. Feel your presence. Feel this, which can't be explained. As you feel this more, and just really choosing self-acceptance, self-love, your presence, your benevolence, your isness, your lightness, you'll naturally want to come into this space more and more and more. So, I wish you the best. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.